Hello, this is another episode of Ask the HR Expert, your HR questions answered in just a few minutes. And today's question is one of my personal sort of pet peeve, which is credit history. Should you ask the credit history? Should you do, as part of your pre-employment check, a credit check of every single candidate that comes through your door if you're recruiting for a professional or management position? First of all, there are some rules that control how we ask credit history for a candidate. They have to agree to it in writing, and there are some specific forms that have to be filled in and signed by the candidate. But more importantly, before going down the road of getting everybody to sign and agree to a credit history, I would encourage you to consider if knowing the credit worthiness of a potential employee is important to that specific position they're applying for. So, for example, I was recently hired by a university to lecture as an adjunct faculty in the School of Business. Part of my pre-employment process was to agree to a credit check. And my question was, how is that relevant to the decision whether to hire me as an adjunct professor or not? And frankly, they didn't have a good answer. All they told me were, it's part of the recruitment process and everybody does it. But I want you to really consider if you need to do it systematically for everybody. And also, what happens if the credit history is checkered? If it's somebody who's been in bankruptcy in the last 5 years, that will show up in the credit report. So how will that information impact the decision that you make about hiring or not this candidate? If the answer is we don't really would make a decision based on the credit report, then why even bother? Why spend money and spend time doing this background credit check if you're not using it? I will say, however, that there are some positions where doing a background credit check as part of your due diligence as you're onboarding a new employee makes sense, especially for executive positions or positions that will handle money or make financial decisions. So your accountant, your CFO, maybe in some cases your cashiers, if they have to handle money, that might be a relevant piece of information. But otherwise, I would say drop it, don't do it. Do your criminal background checks and maybe do some reference checking, confirm their education credentials if it's important to the position, and then hopefully you can bring somebody on board. So this was your Ask the HR Expert. If you have any more HR questions you'd like me to address in a future episode, do email me at Anne-Lise@gereconsulting.com. Check the website and also make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you never miss another episode of Ask the HR Expert.